So I'm not going to be the type of mom who pops up on my page and just has a bunch of to talk about my children, because I freaking love my kids. I love being a mom, and they're very rarely the reason why I'm overstimulated or have any kind of like mental issues at all. You feel me? Like, they're the ones that keep me sane. That being said, like, I will say some shit about the positions my children be in as a mother. You feel me? Like, I'm sorry, but I completely disagree with the school system. I think it's absolutely fucking whack that we have our kids running little lives like they're in their own little W-2s. Like, the whole attendance rate and the fact that, like, my kids can't take a sick day without it being marked against them, I think it's absolute bullshit.
The Jenkins family drama is escalating, and this time, Stephanie has really crossed the line. What started as accusations of child negligence and exploitation for social media clicks has now taken an even more concerning turn. Her latest stance? Defending her decision to pull her kids out of school for what she claims are family reasons. But is that really the full story? Let's unpack her controversial take on the school system and the backlash that followed. Stephanie recently took to social media with a lengthy caption, bracing herself for backlash as she boldly declared her thoughts on public schools. She claimed the school system steals too much of our kids' childhood, urging that children should not spend more than 4 hours a day in school. She reminisced about the Ice Cube lyric, "Send your babies to school and they come back grown," to emphasize how much time parents miss with their children due to school schedules. To her, childhood is meant to be enjoyed freely, not structured around rigid educational requirements that she believed drained children of their formative experiences. She expressed that the amount of time children spend in school restricts family bonding and stifles their ability to explore personal interests outside of academics.
I'm sorry, but I completely disagree with the school system. I think it's absolutely fucking whack that we have our kids running little lives like they're in their own little W-2s. Like, the whole attendance rate and the fact that, like, my kids can't take a sick day without it being marked against them, I think it's absolute bullshit. They're children. They should have absolute freedom when it comes to that, and they shouldn't have this a certain amount of days they need to be in your freaking system. And I think it would be different, in my opinion, if the schools were a little more beneficial, but in the public school system, when you have...
She further elaborated that childhood should be about exploration, creativity, and personal development, rather than adhering to the pressures of a formal educational setting that doesn't always cater to individual needs. She even admitted that while her kids enjoy the social aspect of school, she fundamentally disagrees with how structured it is. According to her, attendance policies are too strict, leaving kids with no real freedom to take time off when they feel like it. She urges that children should have autonomy of their own schedules, rather than being bound by institutional rules that prioritize attendance over personal well-being.
And I think it would be different, in my opinion, if the schools were a little more beneficial, but in the public school system, when you have 30, 40 kids in one classroom, and a lot of times, like, my kids are coming home, I'm teaching them everything that they were supposed to be learning for that day. And I have no problem with that. Like, as a mother, you're a teacher, you're a cook, you're a cleaner, you're everything. And I'm fine with that. But I think that for my kids to be spending 7.5 hours somewhere every day, and the goal is for them to be learning something during that process, like, that should be what's happening. But since there's not enough individual attention in the public school system, the kids are literally just going to have this structured day that's planned out for them, and they get no freedom in the sense. And then when you want them to have some freedom, it's marked against them. Like, just make it make sense. They're children. Why are we doing this to them?
She also questioned why children are expected to adhere to a strict schedule at such a young age, emphasizing that forcing them into educational systems conditions them for a long life of being World II workers, constantly running around with no autonomy, preparing them for a lifetime of conforming to a system she sees as overly controlling. Stephanie further explains that she doesn't see the value in forcing children to learn subjects they aren't interested in, adding that schools fail to nurture individual talents. She believes a more flexible education model, one that allows children to explore their natural interests at their own pace, will be a healthier approach. She pointed out that the standardized education system forces all children to learn at the same pace, regardless of their strengths and weaknesses, which she views as an ineffective and outdated approach. She expressed frustration that schools prioritize standardized testing over creativity and personal growth, leaving little room for kids to develop in ways that align with their unique abilities and passions. She also claimed that many of the lessons children learned in traditional school settings do not translate to real-world success, urging that soft skills and creative thinking should be prioritized over rigid academic structures.
Kids, and I get it, like we want to set boundaries and we want them to have good habits as adults. Okay, but I'm not the type of person that thinks you need to sell your soul to whoever you're working with, and that's the kind of perception we're already giving these kids. I mean, because this morning my daughter said we're still all, like, I can barely even catch my breath. We're still not feeling good. Like, can we just stay home? And I was like, I really wish that was the case, but you guys have already missed a set amount of days this year from us not feeling good, and I have to get you guys in there because I don't want you guys in any more trouble with it. And I hate telling my kids that. I hate being like, you can't take care of how you feel right now as a child because you have to go do this stupid system. And my daughter was like, tell the government they can all wear diapers on their head. Like, for real.
Predictably, Stephanie's comments sparked heated discussions online. Many people pointed out the contradictions in her statements. On one hand, she acknowledges that her kids thrive socially in school. On the other hand, she wants to limit their time there. She also criticizes attendance policies despite them existing to teach children responsibility and structure qualities essential in adulthood. Critics argue that her stance reveals a deeper inconsistency in her parenting philosophy. She emphasizes the importance of autonomy for her children, but disregards the long-term benefits of discipline and routine that come with consistent school attendance. Many parents and educators voiced concerns that allowing children to dictate their own school schedule could lead to a lack of commitment and accountability, values that are crucial for success later in life. Additionally, some pointed out that flexibility is important, but a completely unstructured approach could have unintended consequences, such as difficulty adapting to work or academic expectations later in life. It raises an important question. Is this really about the school system, or is Stephanie projecting her own issues with structure and accountability onto her children? School attendance isn't just about education. It teaches kids the discipline of showing up even when they don't feel like it. Without learning how to navigate responsibilities, these children might struggle with time management, persistence, and self-motivation. Her argument that kids should attend school whenever they want undermines the importance of consistency and routine in their development, potentially setting them up for struggles in the future when personal responsibility becomes even more critical. Furthermore, this mindset could instill an aversion to structured environments, making future endeavors such as higher education or stable employment even more challenging. Let's break down what Stephanie fails to acknowledge. Public schools provide far more than just a place to learn. They offer socialization, exposure to diversity, and structured routines that help children develop essential life skills. Schools create an environment where children learn how to interact with peers from different backgrounds, develop teamwork skills, and navigate social dynamics that will be crucial in adulthood. These everyday interactions are instrumental in shaping their emotional intelligence and resilience. Schools also provide access to extracurricular activities like sports, clubs, and arts programs, which help kids discover their passions and hidden talents. These activities offer children a sense of community, helping them develop confidence and leadership skills that extend far beyond academics. In addition, schools provide structured opportunities for physical activity, creativity, and problem-solving elements that might be difficult to replicate in a homeschool setting. Stephanie's alternative, a homeschooling setup that realistically lacks the same level of resources, diverse interactions, and engagement that public education provides. Moreover, she claims that her kids don't learn anything at school because she still has to teach them things at home. But isn't that part of parenting? Education doesn't stop at school. It's a collaborative effort between teachers and parents. Reinforcing lessons at home is not a failure of the education. Rather, it's an integral part of a child's learning journey. Parents are meant to supplement their children's education, not replace it entirely. The notion that schools should handle all learning without parental involvement is unrealistic, and dismissing the system outright disregards the foundational role it plays in child development. Digging deeper, there is a reason to wonder if something more is motivating Stephanie's sudden disdain for public school. Could she be keeping her children away from mandated reporters, teachers, who are legally required to report signs of neglect or abuse? Given that public school staff are trained to recognize signs of mistreatment, some speculate that Stephanie might be trying to avoid potential scrutiny that could arise from her family's living situation or parenting choice. Or is this about control? If her children are home all day, they're more available for social media content that generates income for the Jenkins family. We've seen this pattern before with influencer parents who prioritize online engagement over their children's well-being. The more time her kids spend at home, the more opportunities Stephanie has to create content featuring them, which translates to increased views, engagement, and revenue. This raises ethical concerns about the extent to which her children's lives are being shaped to fit the demands of her online presence rather than actual developmental need. Then there's the financial aspect. Stephanie's home situation has been a topic of discussion, with concerns about their living conditions, evictions, and struggles to provide stability. Critics argue that rather than addressing these foundational issues, such as securing better housing or financial stability, Stephanie is diverting attention by focusing on her dissatisfaction with the school system. This shift in focus may serve as a distraction from pressing concerns that could directly impact the well-being and future of her children. Ultimately, is her push against traditional schooling truly about education, or is it a strategic move to maintain control over her family's narrative while leveraging her children's presence for financial gain? Stephanie's anti-school stance doesn't just affect her kids, it sends a concerning message to her audience, many of whom might be young parents themselves. By undermining the importance of structured education, she risks influencing others to adopt a similar mindset, potentially impacting a broader generation of children. Education is more than just academics. It provides a stable environment, fosters discipline, and nurtures social development. Without these fundamental elements, children might struggle to adapt to societal expectations and future professional environment. Her reasoning mirrors the mindset of her husband, Drew, who has openly spoken about the resistance to structured work environments. The idea of not wanting to be a slave to a system sounds eerily similar to Stephanie's complaint that her kids shouldn't be forced to attend school regularly. Both perspectives suggest a fundamental aversion to accountability, structure, and long-term commitment, which is essential life skills. But in reality, structure isn't oppression. It's a fundamental part of learning how to function in the world. Without it, these children risk growing up without the skills needed to navigate adult responsibilities. Routine, time management, and discipline are crucial for success, and depriving children of these experiences might hinder their ability to pursue higher education, maintain employment, or even develop resilience in the future in the face of challenges. Rather than being restrictive, structure equips children with the tools they need to thrive in various aspects of life. As this controversy unfolds, one thing remains clear. Stephanie is becoming more comfortable sharing her unfiltered thoughts, no matter how misinformed or controversial they may be. Whether this is simply an attempt to stir engagement or deeper reflection of her parenting philosophy, the implications for her children are concerning. So what do you think? Is Stephanie genuinely trying to do what's best for her kids? Or is there something else at play? Let's discuss in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more updates on this developing story.